Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how I create watercolor leaves in Krita using just a few simple brushes and layers. So whether you are completely new to Krita or just looking to refine your floral art or watercolor painting, this step-by-step guide is perfect for you. So let's dive in and start painting. So let's start by creating a new document. I usually prepare my motifs in a 300 pixel resolution. So you can keep the dimensions as you want, and let's start. I will start by preparing a rough sketch of the painting I want to paint. So I will be choosing this brush. This is the pencil brush, and I will start preparing my sketch on the canvas above the background layer. I am just preparing 3 sketches of 3 different type of leaves. You can paint on all 3 of them, and you can select one of them to paint on. It's completely up to you. So I am sketching them and painting them at completely normal pace so that you can follow me step by step. I haven't sped it up, so you can literally paint it up with me. So I'm just sketching, making a rough sketch of the first floral or first leaves I want to paint in. First the branches, then the leaves. This is a set of leaves on a branch. So after I've done my sketch, let's start by selecting a brush tool. I am selecting this one in particular because it is solid and as well as sensitive to pressure. So let's start by selecting this brush. Let's select your color. I want to go in a deep brown shade for the branches. I'm using my stylus of XP pen to put a little pressure on the branches so that they are thinner from the top and are a bit thick at the bottom and in the middle. You can test your sensitivity of the stylus as you want and experiment with it. After I'm satisfied with my branches, I'm now going to make an outline for the leaves in a shade of green that I want them to paint. Usually I select a base color for the leaves on which I will start painting. It can be dark or light green as you wish. I'm selecting this color, and now I'm going to make an outline of all the leaves on the rough sketch I have just made. So after I'm done outlining my leaves, I'm going to paint them in the same color as the outline. You can use the bucket tool or you can paint them individually as you like. After painting them with the bucket tool, I'm going to use the same brush I used before, and I am going to refine all of these lines or any outlines that I want to refine. Don't worry if the brown branches disappear. You can always redo them after you are painting a layer. And branches are not very specific in the leaves. They are very vague and abstract. So we are going to put it that way, especially in watercolor paintings. So after I'm done refining my white edges or the white spaces, I am going to hide the sketch layer because now I want to focus on my paintings alone. So after hiding the sketch layer, I'm going to rename my current layer on which I'm going to paint on to my liking. Now just click on the layer you want to paint on, and they will appear certain commands just like this, and go to group and quick clipping group. This will create a mask layer, and now we will paint on this layer, this highlighted one. If you have worked with watercolors, you know that the paper is not very smooth, it's very grainy. So now we are going to select this brush, this right here. It will give a grainy texture to the leaves as if we are painting on the watercolor paper. Select a shade lighter to the leaves or darker, it doesn't matter. And now you will see, let me zoom in, you will see how a grainy texture appears on the leaves. Let's do this with all the leaves. You don't have to be very particular, just do it as you like. You can keep painting with me. Now just keep following my video and select the brushes I am selecting to give them some shades and watercolor effects to the leaves. Leave it somewhere dark, somewhere light, because the watercolors are never consistent. The water flows in a direction of the brush stroke. I'm painting a little bit of brown over the part where the branches end, because whenever you are painting over a wet paint, a little bit of watercolor bleeds into the leaves or the other, and it gives a very nice look in the watercolor painting. So I'm to achieve that effect, I'm going to paint a little bit of a brown shade from the branches into the leaves. Just keep following my tutorial and the brushes and the strokes I'm using to achieve the watercolor effects. I'm just going to select the pencil tool, or you can select the thin watercolor water paint brush to paint in the little veins or little details you want in the leaves. I'm not applying very much pressure on my stylus because I want them to be very not so much visible in the leaves. So I'm just slightly painting them in the leaves. If you look closely, and you will be able to see. I'm selecting a darker green shade because again I want to create a bleeding effect. For whenever you are painting with watercolors, there's always a darker residue at the end of the tips or where you put off your brush. So in order to create and give that effect, I am going with lighter dark shade of green and going over the leaf tips like that. When you are satisfied with your painting, you can hide the background layer if you want to save it in a PNG, or if you want to save it as a JPEG, you can keep the background layer and save it as a JPEG in high resolution. I always like to save my motifs in a PNG format, so I always hide the background layer and save them in the PNG format so I can use them whenever I want in my seamless patterns or in patterns I want to create, or surface patterns in whatever way I want. So you can save them, and I also keep them saved in the Krita format so I can edit them later on. So that's it for today. I hope you learned a lot from this painting. You can use these techniques to create many florals of your own. Just experiment with different colors, different leaves. They are never similar, so leaves are never same or similar. They are always abstract, so you can experiment with whatever way you want. So bye from now.